Will the entire US immigration system crash after the election? In this video, we'll be discussing the immigration agenda for the next presidential term. What's going on, everyone? Attorney Brandon Youssef here with the Ally Law Group, bringing you the latest news in immigration. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and be sure to smash that like button and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified anytime we create new content. Now, we all know that this presidential election season has been a tough journey. There's President Trump, who wants to continue with his aggressive immigration strategies. And then there's Vice President Joe Biden, who wants to lighten up the immigration situation in the United States. When it comes to President Trump, he has a senior advisor and his name is Stephen Miller. He just had an interview a few days ago with the NBC TV station, and it was like a 30-minute conversation about what their stance is on immigration. Now, it doesn't look good for immigrants and it doesn't look good for immigration lawyers. If you don't know who Stephen Miller is, he's like Trump's right-hand man. He's like the brains behind the operations. So when you see these executive orders and these new laws going into place, normally Stephen Miller is the one who's bringing up all of these issues and trying to address them and fix them in an aggressive manner. So NBC decided to interview him, and I took notes on what happened in the interview. So I'm going to be going over the top 4 things that are takeaways from the interview. Now, the first thing that he discussed was he wants to have a more aggressive approach on asylum. Now, when we're looking at asylum, we already technically have some of the lowest numbers in history for asylum and refugees. What Stephen Miller is saying is they want to make it even more aggressive. They want lower numbers for asylum seekers in the United States. And they also want an agreement between many countries around the world to where immigrants can go there to apply for asylum and the United States isn't bearing all the burden of the asylum seekers. Because right now, under the Trump administration, in their eyes, the United States is the main place for asylum seekers, and they want to kind of spread it out along different countries, which I can understand. But at the same time, we still need to accept refugees and asylum seekers. Why? Because my parents were refugees, and I would hate for the Trump administration to have denied my parents if it were now. So that one really means a lot to me. I think that we are reducing the numbers drastically, and I don't think that's fair. So that was the first takeaway from the interview. The second takeaway was he wants to punish sanctuary cities. I mean, sanctuary cities are already on the bad list for the Trump administration, but what they want to do is they want to cut federal funding to any states and cities that are sanctuary. And what sanctuary cities do is they don't cooperate with the federal government. So when somebody gets arrested in a city police department, the city's police department doesn't share information with ICE to allow ICE to come pick them up and give them the information about the inmate, so on and so forth, if they are an immigrant. So the Trump administration wants to punish these cities by cutting federal funding and grants that help these cities run. So that's the second takeaway. And I mean, that I've already seen kind of happen here and there, but it'll be huge if they actually do go hardcore on that one. The third one that I want to discuss is expanding the travel ban. I mean, we all know how bad the travel bans are. I mean, they're still in place. You have the presidential proclamation that should be expiring on December 31st, but the way it's looking is that's going to be extended into the next year. The Muslim travel ban, that will be still in place, expanded. Not only does he want to expand these travel bans, but he wants to dive way deeper into the minds of each immigrant. So they want to change the interview ways. So when they're conducting an interview, they want it to be so much more in detail. They want the agencies to share information across the board. And not only that, let me read this to you. This expansion would include changes to interviews, more info sharing, and vetting the ideological sympathies or leanings of those applying for visas. What this means is They want to know what each immigrant believes in, what they follow, what they like before they approve a visa. Now, that is very deep. That dives deeper than it's ever been. I don't remember a time where an immigration visa interview has been that in depth. We want to know you. We want to know what you like, what you believe in, and why you want to come here. So that's going to be pretty intrusive and pretty detailed in an interview. So that is another aggressive approach that they want to take. And the worst one of all in my eyes is this last one, the work visa. They want to crack down on the H-1B visa program, and they want to eliminate the entire lottery system for visas that are over quota. So those people will be out of luck for a visa. Along with that, the Trump administration wants to make it on a point-based system, which they'll basically have like a rubric, and you gotta tally up the points based on all of the different categories that you need to meet as a worker. And hopefully you get a visa as an H-1B worker. But there is an important part that I wrote down from this interview that I want to read to you really quick. The Trump administration would pursue a points-based system for American visa grants aimed at admitting only those who can contribute the most to job creation and economic opportunity while preventing displacement of U.S. workers. What does that mean? That means that not only do you have to meet the qualifications of an H-1B visa, you have to create jobs. You have to not be displacing U.S. workers, which I don't know how that'll work, because the reason you're hiring an H-1B visa employee is because there are no U.S. employees available for that job description that meet your qualifications. So, I mean, of course, there's going to be somebody that's displaced or somebody that doesn't get the job over the immigrant. But that's why there's H-1B visas, to allow immigrants to come here to work, because they carry a diverse mind and a different skill set to the job that the employer might need. Those are the 4 categories that I wanted to discuss with you. Again, asylum, they want to really reduce the numbers. Punishing sanctuary cities, the government will not give federal funding to sanctuary cities that are not sharing information on criminal immigrants to the federal government. The expanding of travel bans and the most likely expansion or extension of the proclamation, and having them really dive deep into your mind in an interview, which can be really uncomfortable. And last but not least, the work visas, the H-1Bs. They want to make sure that the employees are coming here creating jobs and not displacing U.S. workers. So let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. I mean, at the end of the day, I have a lot of buddies in the immigration law field, and I know a lot of them are, I don't want to say panicking, but thinking about what their next step is, what their next move is in their own business, because they're worried that if Trump gets reelected for another presidential term, there may not be that much work for them. So there's a lot of panic, but I want to let you guys know that you guys need to have faith. We got to keep fighting. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to keep pushing forward through this and ride the wave. If you like this video, be sure to smash the like button, get it out there to as many immigrants as possible. Subscribe, and be sure to turn on the notifications bell so you can be notified anytime we create new content. Now, we will be doing a full video on the actual president that becomes elected in the next term. So keep an eye out for that. Remember, turn on the notification bell so you can be notified when we come out with that video, and many others.